Okay, so today it's all about fabric. Welcome back, friends. Today we're going to use some GAC 900, which when mixed with your acrylic paints, turns them into fabric paint. Now I'm not going to paint fabric. I'm going to gel print on fabric. I'm going to use Jacquard silk. Now this is a paper-backed fabric. It makes it really easy to control. Now, if you don't want to buy this because this is a little pricey, I had some left over, and so I thought let's use up what I have left over. But you could just go buy a nice fabric, a nice silk. I would make sure that the fabric that you get has a nice thread count or whatever. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. I know that's with sheets, but you want to make sure that it's not an open weave. And you could use some freezer paper that you can iron onto your fabric as a temporary thing, and then you could peel your fabric off of it very easily. So that is an extra step, but you could do that and you could save some money, especially if you already have the fabric. So today we're gonna mix 1 part of the GAC 900 with 1 part acrylic paint, and I'm going to use Amsterdam paint today, which is a little heavier body. The GAC 900 is very fluid, so it kind of turns your Amsterdam into a more fluid paint. Anyway, enough talking. Let's just get started. First, a quick announcement. Just dropping this weekend, 2 bundles. And it's the best deal that I could offer you guys at this time. So check it out. I'm going to be using one of the bundles in this video. All right, so as I explained, I have some bundles that are going to just be dropping. Well, they just dropped this weekend with Black Friday and everything. I'm going to use one of the bundles today. And in this bundle, I have this one that I call the bean. I have 2 circle divides. These are the bigger ones. I think these 3 together are really fantastic. I have this swirl that pretty much, this is called Swirl Madness. It pretty much covers almost the entire plate. And then I have these other 2 masks. And, you know, the thing I like about this is the finer line that this gives us, as well as this. They both give us, you know, some finer lines. Now I might also introduce one of my stencils, like these are all masks. So I think I'm also going to incorporate this eclectic. I can't remember what this is called, like something ellipse. Anyway, this is a nice basic stencil that is very versatile, and it makes smaller. It looks good both on the ghost and also, you know, so positive and negative. So the second thing that I'm doing today, besides working with this nice bundle, is I am going to be printing with fabric paint, well, on fabric. So I'm going to use this Jacquard silk fabric. I have 5 sheets left, and I'm not going to be using it for anything else, so I thought I really like the silk because it's thin, and I want to incorporate this in a painting sometime soon. So I thought, okay, let's play with some of the fabric. So I have 5 sheets. I probably will do in between pickups with my Deli. And so in order to get these paints to be fabric paints, I'm going to mix GAC 900, which is a heat set fabric painting medium. Now, I'm going to be gluing these onto a canvas. I'm not going to be making something wearable with it where I need to actually heat set it. So I probably will not be heat setting, but I think I still need to use this to print onto the fabric. And I'm going to use these little cups to mix them. So the directions say to mix 1 part GAC 900 to 1 part golden acrylic colors. So, and then if you do want to make something wearable, you would then let it completely dry and then heat set it. Iron 3 to 5 minutes, medium heat, or heat press 1 to 2 minutes at 300 Fahrenheit, 150 Celsius. So, or clothes dryer 30 to 40 minutes on high. I have not done that. I only have, this is really great if you want to like turn this into fabric paint and use a brush and literally, paint a pair of jeans or something, which I think would be a lot of fun. But since I'm jelly printing onto fabric, I'm just having small things that I cannot turn into a garment. You could also, you don't have to use this paper-backed fabric. You could use some freezer paper and iron it onto any fabric that you have, and it would work as well. I already have this, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to try, I think, I'm going to just do quite a bit of layering. So I'm going to start with these 3 colors. I might add a little bit of this just to warm it up. I'm not sure. I'm going to play it by ear. So I think I'm going to do single layers at a time. So I really want to think about this. Like, what do I want? So that means my first layer is my bottom layer. So I might just do a solid color like this. From this point forward, I'm going to do voiceover because my voice is not good today. So I'm going to start by mixing up some colors. So the Amsterdam paint is a little bit more, like it's a creamy consistency. And when I add the 900 to it, the GAC 900, it definitely thins it out quite a bit, which will make it easier for me to gel print with. I did notice, I will say right now, that it behaved more like an open paint in that it was a little stickier, and I got more prints out of it. I could actually get multiple Deli prints. I was using my Deli paper to really clean the plate in between. So keep your eye out for that as I'm doing that. So in between my layers, I may want to be picking up with another paper. I'm going to use paper in between. And that's when I realized I could probably use this medium even if I'm printing with paper, if I want to like slow it down. It almost acted as a retarder. So, and if you already have it, then that's great and you don't own a retarder. I don't know if it works as well as an intended medium for a retarder, but anyway, I know in a pinch I have it. So I'm starting with just a solid background because I'm going to layer on top of it. And this is my fabric, paper-backed fabric. And I'm also not leaving it as long as I do when I'm printing on paper. The fabric acts, reacts very differently. And you can see I left a lot of paint on the plate. But I'm going to just pick that up with some Deli to try to clean it off. And I'm going to layer the Deli sheets as well. Why not, right? Okay, so now I'm doing my other color. I'll list all these colors in the description below. Okay, so I'm going to start with the ellipse stencil. And this stencil makes a really nice ghost, so I'm going to pick that up with the Deli, I think. tricky part of voiceovers is you have to remember what you've done. Anyway, those two colors look really nice together. So there was still some paint on the plate, so I'm going to pick up with this Deli sheet. That also looks really nice. And now we have a great ghost. Also picking up with Deli. But now that I'm thinking about it, I really should have tried to pick this up with one of the fabric sheets. But I only had 5 sheets, so I wanted to really, I had plans for each one. Wanted to really conserve them. Anyway, as you could see, almost like open paint, I got 2 Deli prints out of that. A light one and a dark one. And so now here's my, I think this is my second layer. First layer was the solid, and I'm going to use 2 of the masks now. So I'm going to overlay this one on top of one of the, I think it's the lighter ghost. And I'm going to put this ghost on top of the other one. Okay, so now I'm going back to that lighter color, but I'm mixing it a little bit with this other darker color. Doing a very rough mix. And I don't know why I decided to do this, but I was going to overlay this on already I had like 3 layers, so this was a bad idea. But a lot of times my first print is a bad idea. Anyway, I think it ruined the print overall, but it's okay. I can live with it. So as you will see later, I discover that two things I was doing wrong with fabric paint and with the fabric printing on the fabric. My paint was too thick. I really needed much thinner layers and not as many layers. The better prints came out with fewer layers and less paint. So the other thing you have to keep in mind is, just like with open paint, don't stack them on top of each other. They will stick together. So, lay them out and let them dry. So now I'm mixing up some yellow because I want to warm these up a little bit. So I still have a little bit of the magenta on my brayer, so it's mixing with the yellow a little bit, which is very nice. I also love the way the brayer sheet looks. Gorgeous color. And again, I'm putting another layer on top of this. Like but I was experimenting, so that's my excuse. Too many layers. But I actually like the way that yellow color mixed with the others, so it's not so bad. So now I'm actually using that as my bottom layer on this next silk print. Now see what I mean? That paint, it was on the back of the stencil, and I laid it on top, and it just stuck. So see, I actually like that one as is. Very thin. It was just the paint that was left on the plate. So now I'm going with the thinner layers. As you can see, this is very thin, very transparent. A little bit of that yellow, a little bit of the magenta. And I'm going to go over this. And then I take another clean piece. Because I'm realizing the ghosts are what look best on this fabric. And this one is really beautiful. They're both very nice, but I like the simpler one. So I love this yellow green. So my idea for this session was to just overlay masks. I've done that before with paper prints. I love the overlaying of sometimes the same mask, just in a different direction. But the next time I do this, I think I'm going to keep it much simpler, and I'm only going to do one layer. I'm even going to keep a lot of the white. I think that would have been a better direction to go in. But we don't learn these things until we actually do them. So I hadn't done any gel printing on fabric in probably over a year. And after this session, I realized that last time I did much simpler prints. So I'm making a mental note that the next time I'm not going to do that. But anyway, I am overlaying the ghost, I think, on the same print. I'm not sure. I went a little too fast on this one. But yeah, it's very faint. So I'm just going to pick this up to clean some of that paint off the plate. And that actually gave me a really nice, subtle Deli paper. So I'm just putting like a solid yellow on top. But I went very lightly, and so it came very uneven. And now I'm just, again, doing a rough mix with some of the yellow that was left on the plate, I love the colors that we get, the variation. Yellow and magenta are like becoming like my go-tos when I'm not sure about what to do. Anyway, I'm going to overlay again on this. I think these colors will be beautiful on top of that yellow green and the yellow. Yeah, this is a nice, this was what I was going for. That's what I meant by overlaying the masks. I love the accidental shapes that you get. So I'm putting the ghost on top of this other print. And that's also a really good overlay of masks. I think in that case they were both ghosts. So I also have a few more sheets left of the cotton. The cotton is it's a little heavier. I don't think it prints quite as well as the silk does. But it is a little sturdier. It's also a lot easier to get the paper off the back. The silk sometimes, especially if you put too much paint, the paint seeps all the way through to that paper. It makes it even more difficult to get the paper off. So anyway, I've got a base color of yellow. I'm putting the ghost of the yellow, the paint that was left on the plate, on a second sheet of fabric. So I'm getting a really pale yellow on that one. But I'm still seeing some paint on the plate, so I'm going to pick that up. See how much the Deli paper picks up. So I'm going to do like a half and half on this. See, it just doesn't print as well as the silk does. But you get like a different kind of a print. And I do love the ghost. So I'm going to put that on top of the other cotton sheet. And that really looks beautiful. So I'm going to, the paint that's left, I'm going to put over one of those subtle sheets. So this mixture, it gives me a very different kind of almost a mauve-y color. It kind of really went more neutral than when I mixed the brighter red with the yellow. It's not a color that excites me as much as the other, but I wanted to give it a try. And it was probably because it was more of a purpley pink, and I was mixing it with a complementary yellow. So of course it's going to go more neutral. So I'm just playing at this point. I'm overlapping in a different way, just looking to see what kind of effect I'm going to get. And I'm just going to overlay that on this entire thing. And of course the cotton's not picking up as well, so we're not getting even tones. So I'm trying to decide what to do with this one. I'm winding down at this point. I'm trying to use the paint that I've mixed up. So I thought that that was going to be pretty on top of that, but that really ruined it. So the conclusion was the cotton was not nearly as good. I would just stick with silk or a thin, very fine. If you could find a cotton that's a little finer, that would probably work as well. Okay, I'm going to start with some of the bonus papers first just because they dried faster. This one I love. This area right in here, a lot of, as you can see how transparent it is. Let me get a piece of white paper. Look at how gorgeous that is. I think for collage paper, this is going to be absolutely beautiful. This one is okay. There's some nice areas with this, but this one's much nicer. Some of the other ones I picked up. I was trying to clean the plate. They're a little bit messy. This one is a little more intentional. It's okay. And this one's really a mess. I must have picked up just one too many times. But anyway, there's a kind of bonus papers. And at least we got one really good one. So my very first print, it is still drying. I think it's okay if I peel it off though. It's a little drier than it was. This was many layers. My first print, so I was using too much paint. And at that point I was still going for, you know, more of the background and not the ghost print. What I learned later on is the ghost print is much nicer on the fabric. And so the way this works is now I'm going to peel this off. The silk is a lot harder to do that because it's so thin. Let's see if I can. You know, the cotton just comes like right off. Now, in my experience with the silk, the underside is sometimes even prettier. And I have a feeling I'm gonna love this one. Now, another thing that I also found with the silk is that sometimes the paper sticks because the paint just like seeps through, but it didn't this time, so I'm very happy. Okay, so that's what it looks like on the front, and that is the back. Not so pretty, that one, but there might be another one that's very pretty. So now I can actually, I could heat set this if I wanted to and sew it into something. Patchwork it. This could be a quilt, you know, for quilting and whatever. But I could also cut this up and put it into a collage because I use fabric a lot on canvas. When you're gluing, you know, using gel medium to attach fabric to a canvas, which is also fabric, let's face it, they kind of fuse together and they're really hard to come apart. Where paper is more sitting on the surface of a canvas. So it is, this side is silkier. You know, when the paper is just sitting on the canvas, you kind of run the risk of, you have to seal it really well, or you run the risk of it peeling off, or somebody being able to, you know, work at it and peel it off. This, oh my goodness, it's a beautiful piece of fabric. It looks so much nicer after you peel it off. And plus it is a little bit transparent, you know, so that could be beautiful on a canvas collage, even over this other one. But see how these two together will work really well together. Okay, let's, all right, so here's the others. This one I think came out really nice. This one's so-so, and this one I like a lot. I like, you know, seeing this graffiti ink, you know, mask peeking through in the yellow. I think it's really, really pretty. But again, I think the ghost prints work well, at least on the fabric. Here's let me show you how easy the cotton comes off. It's so much easier. Of course, I say that and now it won't come off. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it comes right off. So anyway, this is a heavier fabric. Really works well with the canvas. I have done it many, many times. This is going to be, this could be really beautiful on a background of a collage. This one got a little muddy on me, but you know, I probably won't use it. But look at this other side. It's kind of interesting. I don't have to use this side. I could use this side. There's something very subtle going on here. I think it's very pretty. I didn't look at the under. Same thing on this. So that is, you know, the ghost print that does that. And you can actually plan it that way and actually use the underside instead of the top. Yeah, they're very nice. So anyway, I hadn't done this in a while and I wanted to play with my fabric again. You should give it a try, but definitely the silk is so much nicer. It's like so fine and so beautiful. I think you'll really like it a lot. But don't use a lot of paint. Don't do so many layers. This actually was just one pickup, a one layer pickup. It was the Ghost, and it's probably the nicest of all of them. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love the way some of these came out. I didn't love them all, you know. I didn't plan them very well, I guess. A lot of times my unplanned prints are the ones that come out best. So some of the, okay, there were a couple of points that I learned from this session, and that is really use very little paint. Like, make sure it's a super, super thin coat, and the best prints are made with the Ghost. Keep that in mind, and don't overlayer it like I did on that first one. So those were a couple of key points from this video that I hope will help you when you try this, because you really should try it, especially if you love fabric arts. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to create, inspire, and share. Bye-bye.